Joan, thank you for making some time available, especially on a Saturday. It's great to be reconnected with you, especially during such an uncertain time. And I was particularly eager to talk with you as both an educator and an artist who I've known for years. How are you in your work and elsewhere? How are you building community, serving community during this time of crisis?
Well, certainly this kind of shutdown has made things very difficult, and we had to be decisive right away as a person. What am I going to do now? And the answer came very easy because within an instant, artists and educators have reached out to each other with frantic requests of what do I do? Anybody have any ideas? How can I make, for instance, my ceramics class online and not be filler? What do we do? And so I joined a couple of groups on social media that is dedicated to just those support things. Specifically, there's an art and design education group that deals with our concerns about the visual arts. And then there's a different group that is just reaching out to each other and mentoring adjuncts and young instructors on how to teach effectively online. So two different groups. One was just the visual arts and one was general education. And these things actually have automatically attached us to each other, and sometimes in a personal way, like PM me and I'll show you how to do that. We'll talk on the phone and I'll show you how to upload that stuff, or great websites to go to for your students. And it was instant, and it's strong, and it's absolutely wonderful.
Wow, and it was probably there all the time, but we just didn't avail ourselves of it.
True.
So what are some questions, big or small, that are coming up for you right now that you're thinking might actually benefit some others in a similar place?
Right. Well, the big question for me personally, because I'm leaving education, but I'm staying active in the arts, is how do we as artists maintain community when the concerns for people in general are going to be rather dire? How do I feed my family, as opposed to, gee, I need more art, So what do we do? And I think that what has happened, just like my other answer, is that artists have done this for each other. I have a daily breakfast FaceTime with a different artist every day, wherever they are. One was in Maine yesterday, one's across town today. And we're saying, how are you doing? What's happening with your project? I can put you in touch with somebody. We're doing that personal networking. And my concern in a larger sense is more about not just the bonds between artists. Bonding is important, but the community participation. That's what we as artists have to do, is that artists can't allow themselves to be separate, but we have to use your phrase, lean in, to engage the community and help them recognize that we speak for all of us, and that as innovators and creative thinkers, we have solutions that might not have occurred to leadership, government leadership or community leaderships, where an alternative perspective might come in handy now. That we know how to make things, we know how to do things. You need a pizza oven? We can build that.
But you may have answered the last question that I thought to ask you, but to make no assumptions, what are you seeing around you right now that gives you hope?
Well, that's the thing that I did touch on it just a second ago. The thing that gives me hope is that artists are making themselves more being viewed as more viable in the community. So for instance, in Charleston, there is, let me think, I wrote it down, it's the ACBA, the American College of the Building Arts. It came in my feed somewhere. And it's a 4-year school that concentrates on teaching people the trades of art that services the community, like Charleston, that was devastated after Hurricane Hugo. And so education is changing, I hope, to embrace the can-do, hands-on kind of education instead of the data collection, outcomes, assessment stuff. That's what I want to go to. That's what I'm hopeful to continue work in, as opposed to standard education that I'm retiring from now.
Oh, that's so cool. And you give me, and I know others, a real sense of lift by being able to imagine the next curve for you. So thanks for taking some time, especially on
You're
a
so
Saturday.
welcome.
It's great to see you thriving amongst the chaos, and I look forward to our next chat.